Let's move on to the resolution. What can you do about it? What can you do about these Moon-Pluto issues? I've got 1, 2, 3 different major things here that you can do to ease these Moon-Pluto issues, all right? So let's get into them. So the first one is self-therapy. So Moon-Pluto is the self-therapist. It's the self-therapy aspect. Moon being your innermost self, Pluto being the therapist. Pluto and Scorpio, you know, they are synonymous with one another. That Plutonian energy, it does represent a psychiatrist, a therapist, somebody or an energy that can get to the root of an issue. So when you have that in aspect of Pluto, we have a really great ability to get to the root of our own issues. This is one of the really cool things about Moon-Pluto. When it comes to all of these emotional dilemmas, we can get through them just by knowing the root of the issue. So let me read you my notes. Self-therapy, lots of self-analysis. Moon-Pluto is the self-therapist, giving birth to ourselves time and time again. For this reason, we seek out surrogate nurturers at times. So what do I mean by that? Moon-Pluto, we're always looking for a way to give birth to ourselves over and over again. And for that reason, we're looking out surrogate nurturers, like a surrogate nurturer to give birth to us again, right? It's like the home environment, the personal life, the personal environment can be. So that's another reason why we self-sabotage in relationships sometimes, because it's like we need to, like my phrasing and terminology might be kind of weird here, but I just need you guys to kind of understand, right? So it's like for a Moon-Pluto person to be in a relationship, it's like, oh my gosh, we're being born. It's like we're being born into a relationship, and then when it's not going I'm not gonna say when it's not going our way, but when it's hitting that super sensitive spot to the point where we want to self-sabotage, it's because we feel like we need to be born again. Like okay, it's time for me to be born into a new relationship. Like I can't focus here anymore. Like it's like that crawling back into the womb feeling almost, right? Not literally, but you get the image I'm trying to paint, right? And then being born elsewhere, right, into a different situation. Birth to themselves time and time again. For this reason, we seek out surrogate nurturers at times, someone who can give birth to us. And so for me, that emotional nurturer, that surrogate nurturer was Sailor Moon, right? And I'm not talking about relationships anymore. I'm talking about the surrogate nurturer, right? So like my mother, you know, being born to her was obviously volatile and just a very traumatizing experience, you know, like everything that I went through with her and that I'm still going through with her now, right? And so as a child, it's like I was seeking an outlet of rebirth. I needed a new nurturer to be born through, right? And so for me, that person was Sailor Moon. I felt safe, seen, and understood. I felt calm and relaxed through the Sailor Moon anime. I had found new birth, right, through that anime, through watching Sailor Moon and just feeling like I had just taken her on as my new nurturer. And this is when I was a child. When I was a child, I used to just have this image of her as my mother. I would just be like, you know, Sailor Moon is my real mom. That's my real mom. Like, oh my gosh. Like, I would just call her mom in my head. Like, that was the way I just used to cope. I just used to hang on to that, right? However, this only works if it's producing results. So as a child, that was producing results for me because I was a child. You know, I could watch the anime, collect the toys, and blah, 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 play dress up, you know, stuff like that, like what a normal child would do. I could immerse myself, you know, into the anime and into the franchise. But as an adult, Sailor Moon cannot produce the same results for me. Now, why is that? Because at this point, my emotional maturity is just way past that. I'm not at that level anymore where I'm calling anybody but my actual mom in my head, even though she gets on my fucking nerves. Like, I'm not calling anybody else mom in my head anymore. That was just what I did. That's just what I did as a child. I'm way past that, emotionally mature past that. So that's not producing any results anymore. You know, Sailor Moon, even though I still love Sailor Moon, but you know. Also, I've watched all the episodes. I've basically consumed almost every piece of Sailor Moon media that I could possibly consume, right? So it's like it's not really helping me anymore like it used to. I can't get that new birth feeling like I could back in the day. And so my girlfriend actually pointed that out to me. She was like, you know, I think you need to kind of move on from Sailor Moon. She was like, I don't think you see it, but I think you need to move on from it. And she wasn't saying this like, oh, you're too old for it. She just kind of noticed the way she just can observe is really crazy. But she just kind of noticed the way in which I was just hanging on to it. I was really still clinging to it in a way. And I really still do. Like, when I'm scrolling down my Instagram feed, I still do follow some Sailor Moon accounts, and I'm just like it's like a comfort thing, right? It's still like kind of a comfort thing that I have going on. So I'm still just kind of, you know, egging off of it, you know. However, with astrology, so now astrology is my my surrogate nurturer now. Now remember, this surrogate nurturer, it doesn't have to be a person. It can be some sort of thing or hobby. So astrology is my surrogate nurturer now. And so the reason why astrology works for me now, and why it will always work for me as a form of self-therapy, is because I can continue to learn more and more from astrology. I will always be able to learn more. I will always be able to teach others through it, learn about myself, learn about others, pick apart, digress, and I'll always be able to get results from that. I can get results through making money from it, get results from, like I said, learning about myself, teaching others, helping other people learn about themselves, helping other people if they want to be an astrologer and start a career in that. Now they're making money for their family. You know what I'm saying? There are results produced through that. So that becomes a surrogate way to nurture myself, and like, just it's a way of self-therapy. It's a way to give my own self the rebirth that I need every so often. So like what I'm doing now, talking to y'all, expressing these things, getting it off my chest, helping other people, this is that self-therapy. This is that surrogate nurturing. This is producing results as I speak, and that's why it works. And I've been going through an emotional storm. I don't know if y'all saw my last Patreon post, but I've been going through an emotional storm like the last 2 weeks. So imagine me sitting on my couch looking at Sailor Moon pictures or watching the anime on my TV. I mean, that would definitely make me feel very comforted, but it would not produce any results. Once the anime is gone off, once I've scrolled past the picture, I'm still going to be in the same emotional state. I will have made no progress. But through doing something like this, I am making progress and I am moving on, right? Right. Next thing that a Moon-Pluto person can do to solve and deal with their issues is emotional confrontation. So one thing about Moon-Pluto, we have this self-preservation tactic that we do. And it's basically where, so y'all know Pluto represents, Pluto is the ruler of Scorpio, and Scorpio is a water sign, and the part of water that Scorpio represents, it represents the part of water that we submerge things into, like the deep part of the ocean, like when things become submerged, right? So with Moon-Pluto, and the moon represents things that are kind of fast moving, because it's the quickest, it's the fastest moving planet, right? So with Moon-Pluto, we will often bury things, we will submerge things deep within our psyche, right? And we will do this very quickly. Whenever something hurts us, we will do this so fast, we won't even realize it. We won't even have time to confront it. We won't have time to think about it. We won't have time to talk about it, because next thing you know, we have submerged it and we have buried it deep within our fucking psyche, right? Right. So emotional confrontation. We Moon-Pluto people, we have to learn how to emotionally confront our issues. And so when it comes to that thing I just talked about, burying things deep within our psyche, it's very difficult to bring them back up immediately. It's very difficult. I'll often have so many days, well, not so many, but you know, I'll just have so many times where all of a sudden there's something wrong with me and I'm like, why am I upset? I can be chilling and I can just realize, I can be like, you know what, I'm upset. I don't know why I'm upset, but I know there's something bothering me. I just don't know what. Right? And I know it's because there's something buried there's something submerged deep within my psyche that's trying to come out, right? And it's probably something I put in there way back when, immediately, because I didn't even have a chance to confront it. Like, we don't even get a chance. It's a self-preservation tactic. It's something our minds and bodies do instantly to try to preserve our feelings and stuff, right? So, emotional confrontation. And this is what I have written down. Simply knowing and understanding our own issue or trigger, whether it be one from childhood or whether it be the trigger of the day, the trigger of the hour, or whatever it is that's bothering us, it goes miles towards self-control and restoration. Literally just knowing the issue, guys. It doesn't mean that it won't hurt, and it doesn't mean that you're going to get over it in 2 minutes. So once you have confronted the issue, I don't mean to overuse the word emotionally, but shit, we're talking about the moon. Once you've confronted the issue, once you've figured out what it is, that doesn't mean that, oh my gosh, it's not going to hurt you anymore, or you're going to be able to get over it in 2 minutes flat. It just means that you are going to be able to speed up what could have been a weeks or months long process so that you can get on with your life. So remember how I just said, I'm like, what's wrong with me? Why am I bothered about something? Whenever I give myself that space and time to figure out what it is, and then once it comes up and I can confront the issue and be like, oh, that's what's wrong with me. I got upset because so-and-so did this, and I'm still upset about it, and blah, 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 blah. And then I can address it, and then I don't have to address it right then and there with myself or with the other person, or even if it's not with another person or whatever it is, I can just save it for later. But just the simple act of knowing it, remember what I said, just the simple act of knowing what it is goes miles. And then knowing that later on I can think about it more, like maybe later when I get home, or maybe the next day when I'm dressed or laying in the bed or whatever, then I can really think about it, write about it, listen to some Evanescence, scream my fucking heart out, get it out my system and confront it that way. You see what I'm saying? It goes miles. And like I said, it doesn't mean it won't hurt. It doesn't mean I'm going to get over it in 2 minutes or 2 days. But it does mean it'll speed up what could have taken me weeks or months to get over. Right? You have to be able to confront those issues. You have to be able to give yourself the space to understand what is wrong with you, what's bothering you. And so the last thing is using Pluto to amplify the qualities of your moon without dying, right? And so what do I mean by that? Remember that I said that Pluto represents amplification, right? Pluto also represents death. And so Pluto will amplify the qualities of your moon. So I have a Leo moon. Leo is very dramatic. It's theatrical. We want attention. We want to be seen. And so Pluto is amplifying all those traits in me. Even without trying to, people will be like, why are you talking so loud, Jay? And I'll be like, what are you talking about? I'm not talking loud. And I'm talking loud now because the microphone's all the way over there. But on a normal day, they'll be like, damn. I'll be like, damn, what you talking about? You know what I'm saying? So talking loud, stuff like that. But even so, I'm just giving you an example. You have to be able to look at your moon. What sign is your moon in? And then think about those traits. So like if you have Gemini moon, the traits of writing, the gift of gab. If you have Capricorn moon, it's your work ethic. It's your ability to be seen and recognized in the public sphere for your efforts. Stuff like that, You have to be able to use the amplification of Pluto to amplify the traits of your moon without dying. What do I mean by that? It's like in the Avengers movie, I think it was Infinity War, when Thor was in that like star light beam, And don't y'all remember when like they had to put that star beam on Thor and he had to like hold that shit together to make another hammer, and he had to sit there and take all that light and amplification without dying? That's what we have to be able to do. And so what do I mean by that? It usually means like we kind of have to go through crisis. Pluto does represent crisis, and so that can show that there will often be some type of crisis that we must get through before that amplification can take place, or before we can really get to the benefits of that amplification, right? So for example, I have Pluto amping up my 10th house, Leo moon, right? So it's intense Pluto attention, Leo, to my career, 10th house. But it affects my personal life, the moon, right? And then Pluto is that amplification. Pluto is the crisis, right? What is the crisis here? And so y'all know I was bullied very badly. Like my Twitter journey to get to where I am now, like that first year and a half, man, like I was bullied, my account, like people just always had something to say. Like it was just really bad. Like I don't know, it was just really fucked up. I'm just not gonna go into detail, but it was just really bad. Lots of bullying. Everybody always had something to say. People hated my interpretation style. They hated the way I did things differently. They hated that I used the ABC method, blah 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 blah. So I had a lot of bad days, but I was able to persevere. Remember what I talked about at the beginning of the video with Hercules and having that last little ounce of strength? I was able to persevere. And so now look, now everything's going great. You know what I'm saying? So now I get to enjoy the benefits of Pluto's amplification on my 10th house Leo moon. But I have to go through a crisis first. So it's like Thor with that light beam. I have to get through that without dying. Y'all see what I'm saying? So sometimes, you know, there will be a crisis that you have to go through before you can enjoy the benefits of those amplified qualities of your moon. Okay guys, so this video is getting long. That's just this is just one of I think I'm gonna have to make another video on Moon Pluto, because there's so much I could say, so much I didn't say, so much I'm sure I forgot to say. There's so much more to say about Moon Pluto. Like also I have a lot of tweets on Moon Pluto. If you want to search it, you just search my name plus Moon Pluto. You put from, and then you put a colon, and then you put iJaadee all together, and then you put a space, and then a plus, put the little plus sign, and then you put Moon Pluto, like Moon space Pluto, and then you'll see my Moon Pluto tweets. Or you can put from iJaadee, from colon iJaadee with the space, and then a colon, and then another space, and then you can just put the letters MP. Because I've talked about a lot of Moon Pluto tweets, and I've just put MP when I've tried to condense the tweet. If you do that, you'll see a lot of my Moon Pluto tweets. So if y'all want to go look through that, I've talked about it so much. I have a lot of experience with this aspect, with this placement. So I just really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you can take a lot away from it. I do hope to talk about it more in the future, and I hope you enjoyed it. Oh, I forgot to smile.